Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Tap In, where we bring you the insider secrets on the nightlife in your city by sitting down with the stakeholders of the industry itself. Today, we have the absolute privilege of sitting down with one of the most eccentric event coordinators in the city, known for his presence on social media, as well as some of the most eccentric and exclusive pop-up events here in Cleveland. Ladies and gentlemen, Ishmael Khadair.
Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Appreciate you taking the time to meet with us. So a lot of people may have seen your presence on social media. They may have seen you at some of these events, but they don't know you as a person. So give us a little background. How did you get into the event scene, if you don't mind me asking?
That's a great question. So I was born in Kuwait. I came into Ohio during the Gulf War back in early '90s, and I feel like I've always been like in the events scene, even as a kid.
Okay.
I was that kid that would go to family parties, and instead of hanging out with the adults, I'm hanging out with all the kids. Even now, I find myself still hanging out with the kids when we do parties, and then and then thinking back all the way to high school, I was that guy that threw all the parties and planned for it when the parents would go away on a trip. But I've been here ever since, and then at the age of 19, decided to move to New York, and right before I was 20, and been in the scene since. It's just been nuts. Yeah.
So you said you lived in New York a little bit. Do you think that your experience or your time in New York is what contributed to how you curate events here in Ohio now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a lot different because seeing what you guys have done here in Ohio does a lot of times remind me of things that you can only see in those larger cities or overseas. So
Yeah.
Give me a little background of how you brought some of your New York experiences here.
So you're right on that point too. It's night and day. Comparison to Cleveland and New York, there's no comparison. What's crazy is when I moved to New York, everything just so much faster there. You walk fast, you talk fast, you think fast. Whatever goals you have, you end up meeting somebody that can help you achieve that goal. In Cleveland, it's great, but it is a little slower paced. No one's not really that eager to make things happen. So moving there when I was right before I was 20, I actually worked on Wall Street for quite some time. Being there, it's you meet a lot of people, and being on Wall Street, I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of those individuals. They were in the scene. There's guys who are promoters, event organizers, event coordinators, event directors, massive organizers that do music festivals, and I was just that individual that went out literally every single day. When I was in New York, man, I was like that kid that just wanted to do stuff, and there was just so much there to do, and I became that guy, that person that everyone came to because I was Ish the banker at that time.
Okay.
So all my clients were all something of events, anything, running media, production. And then I started meeting venue owners. And then even before I was 21, I found it very difficult to get into clubs. Obviously I wasn't 21, right? And I learned about what promoters were, because a lot of those were my clients, and they would tell me what their job title are and what they do. And I'm like, man, but they would always complain about things that they were running issues to. So I decided early on to start a promotional company, which then I hired all these promoters. And I didn't even do it for the money. I really did it just because I can get into these venues and these exclusive parties. And having that company gave me that insight of how venues operate as far as filling up the venues prior to the event. And I was able to go into these exclusive parties. And when I mean parties, I'm talking about everything you see in movies. That is true.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's times,
people.
Oh, absolutely. There's times where I'd go out on Friday, won't come home till Sunday. You don't want to leave the party. That's just how much fun it is. There's just so much going on. And then I finally turned 21 and fast track. In the banking world, I just had all these individuals who were just amazing in in that line of work, which is anything to do with events and how they maintain that energy and how they open up the venues, and having that promotional company, it also gave me insight of how to operate it. Plus it helped me build those relationships even more. And then later on, I became not only Ish the banker, I became Ish the banker promoter.
Okay.
And not that I knew how to promote, the promoters knew how to promote. I just knew how to
had access.
Yeah, I just knew how to maintain those relationships.
Okay.
So I already had the plugs of all the venues. They needed promoters. Now I have the company to cover that gap to where, hey, I got all these promoters, they can work with you guys. And then I started invited to all these exclusive parties. Plus, my very first mentors in doing events, he had this massive music festival, and I'm seeing the money coming in. Obviously being the banker, I have access to all this data and all the funds, and I'm like, man, you really make all this money? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I feel like I'm in the the wrong line of work.
Right.
And short story short, he ends up inviting me out to one of these music festivals, and I'm in the backstage, and I'm seeing this huge crowd, like just a bunch of people in that field. I'm like, man, this is such the coolest job in the world. But I'm looking over, and he's like really stressed out, and he's like, you want to help me out? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And he gave me some tasks, and I ended up knocking them out. And then, after you knock out one task, you end up, there's another one, and then there's another one. And at one point, I felt like a fireman, like I'm putting out all these fires. But, fast track that, a couple years have gone by, it's evolved into like starting to do yacht parties in Manhattan, which that was fun. I mean, a party on a yacht was great. But the problem with that was, if one thing goes wrong, the captain's going to call us back in, so the party ends. And there's been a lot of things that happen wrong.
There's always something that's going to go wrong at a party.
Always. But to answer your question, like, I've been there for over a decade, and having access to all those venues and access to all those relationships have gotten into, having all these experiences. And, come back to Cleveland, it's like, what the hell happened?
Okay.
Why are we so behind? Again, there's no comparison to New York and Cleveland, but it's just sad to come home to my hometown and see, like, where's the dance floor? Where and I have these conversations with EV all the time too. It's like the dance floor has disappeared, and it's like, where are those experiences? Where's those after parties? Like, what happened? Now that I even think about it, it's like, before I left, I know I was only 19, but before I left Cleveland, there was college nights. Like, what happened to the day parties? What happened to the college nights? What happened to, like, there was just so much missing and so much gap. And then, being exposed to so many different kinds of music, you come back and it's like the same music still. And it's like, something's got to change. And then that's when I hit up Eric, my Husky buddy, that goes by EV, and he's like, I feel the same way, man. I was like, well, let's do something about it. And like at the start of doing events, we thought we were just going to do a Halloween party last October. I'm like, yeah, let's just do this because I'm bored. There's nothing to do for Halloween other than the status quo type of stuff. Let's just do something different. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, dude, we'll find a plug for like a warehouse and just deck it out. And then we ended up doing it. The party went till 7 a.m. And then to come to find, we weren't the only ones bored. And I didn't want to stop. I'm like, I looked at him. He's like, bro, you're crazy. Like, you want to keep going? I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, let's do it. Let's keep going. And then here we are now.
Okay.
So like the experience all came from New York.
I definitely want to lean into that a little bit. A few things that you spoke on. One, coming back that night and day experience from what you experienced, in New York and Manhattan and other places, and then coming back and seeing it in Cleveland. You spoke on how the dance floor is dead, and I've interviewed quite a few people, and they all have a similar story. And I feel like it's a disconnect between the DJs and the dancers, the venues and the DJs. That and the exposure of social media. People are coming out to be seen now, as opposed to really enjoying it, or they're afraid to be captured on camera enjoying the moment. It's that whole cringe factor. But I want to really dive into the warehouse party on Halloween, right? So you guys had been doing some stuff before, but like that was the slingshot that really leapt you into where you are now.
Yeah.
So walk me through what that looked like, because I got the chance to experience it myself, and that was the first time I had been to a Cleveland function that extended past 2, 3, 4 a.m. So walk me through what the setup or the build up for that looked like.
Yeah, I mean, so doing events for a living, especially nationally, and understanding how each market operates, there's ways that we had to avoid, legalities, right? So we said, we're not going to sell booze, we're not going to do any of that, we're not going to get the permits. Let's just do BYOB. Let's just give people a chance to just come out, at a late night and extend whatever they're doing normally at nightclubs to come after. And, truthfully, we didn't even have a venue until like the day before.
Okay.
We had one, but like it ended up falling through, and I'm like, dude, it's a good thing we said we're not going to share the address, And then when we found the venue the day before the event, we had literally 24 hours to set up, and I used my resources. Eric used his resources, and we said, let's start it at 1. Let's see how far Cleveland really wants to take it. At first it started off as a joke. I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go till 7 in the morning. But everyone that's seen that video of me promoting that event, you'd be surprised. A lot of people did stay till 7 in the morning.
They planned accordingly, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, they sent it in ways that I didn't think Cleveland would. And then we also, used our resources, our artists. Like shout out to Star Being, amazing artist, talented, very talented in Cleveland. He did this portrait.
Okay.
I wanted something different. I'm like, man, do Frankenstein? Yeah. Like he's like, okay, cool. Like what size? I'm like, I want it massive. I want it to be the center of the DJ booth. The DJs are right behind it, the mouth, so people can see the DJ. Which it ended up, you can't see the DJs at all.
Just a little head figure inside the mouth. Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens when you plan a 24-hour party. But, over 2,000 people showed up, and we had the DJ booth looked amazing, and people every time like 5 left, 10 would show up. And it was like so unique, and there's faces I've never seen before. And at one point it started off as just a one-off event. Like literally me and Eric were bored and we wanted something to do for Halloween. To the point where like I'm meeting random people like, hey, thank you so much for making this happen. Thank you so much. Like, dude, keep going. Can't wait for the next one. When's the next one? When's the next one? And I'm like, man, that feeling of them, seeing them being enjoyed and then them coming up, like randoms that I don't know, that's such an rewarding feeling, right? It just comes back, and I'm like, man, it felt good bringing back something to Cleveland because like I wasn't the only one that really desperately wanted something different, and here we are now. So we went from that Halloween party to like, yo, Eric, well, let's not stop.
Yeah.
I would give him a call like randomly, like and I'd record it or whatever. I'm like, man, I think we should continue to keep the journey going with everybody in Cleveland, ask for Cleveland's feedback on what we should do next. A lot of people said, hey, do something for Black Friday, or actually, what's that event prior to Thanksgiving?
The biggest drinking day of the year. Yeah.
Which I was like, there's no way there's no way that exists. But I was like, why not you guys do your drinking day of the year, have your turkey, and then the day after, let's do a Black Friday pop-up. And we ended up finding that church, and it came across the table. I'm like, man, that would be iconic. So then I'm like, okay, this is the next party we'll do, then New Year's Eve, and then that's it. Like, let's just chill back, and like we gave Cleveland exactly what they needed, and let's stop. But that iconic party at the church was just so surreal, man. And not like even though people got pissed off that it was at a church, but it was a church that converted into an event space. But just having that party and seeing it come to life and seeing that production and people like willing to like contribute to the movement. Like no one complained about it. There'd be a, $20, $40 ticket. Some gave 60, 80, like, man, keep it going. And, we hit even, the production happened. And then the feedback after the event, it's like, why the hell do we, let's keep going. We already had New Year's Eve lined up. But we wanted to do something more unique for New Year's Eve.
Okay.
It was hard to follow that church. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the content.
I did. Yeah,
dude, it was just crazy to see it. But then like New Year's Eve, we needed money because we lost money on the last 2 events. The first Halloween party, that was completely free.
Right.
We were out like negative 20 grand just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Me and Eric, we do very well for ourselves. We're just trying to give back. But then we're like, man, if we're gonna keep going, we can't just like go
keep
bankrupt.
Dumping money, yeah.
I'm sure everyone's gonna be willing to help. So then we ended up asking people to help for the church party. Then New Year's Eve, I'm like, man, we got over 3,000 RSVPs. The venue only holds 2,500. There's no way. Like, and I don't want to ruin someone's New Year's Eve experience
because they can't get in.
But they can't get in. So we decided, let's just launch a ticket. If you have a ticket, you're guaranteed entry. And if you don't, maybe find something else to do or maybe try to come. But if you had a ticket, you're guaranteed entry. And man, tickets, the first wave of tickets for New Year's Eve sold out within like less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I'll applaud you for that because I've never seen something like that activated in Cleveland. And I want to get into the specifics of that because you guys didn't release the ticket sale or the address until what, the day before, right? So this is all
The day of.
okay, right?
Oh, yeah,
So
day
all
of.
right, if you want access to it, you have to follow along with the social media.
You got to be part of the
follow
journey.
along
Yeah.
with Clubhouse, with EV, with Ish, to be able to get access to the information, to
Correct.
then get access to the ticket.
Correct.
Now walk me through how that, because for some people that could be, horrible. That could be horrific in a sense of waiting to the last minute. But you guys have found success in activating these pop-up last-minute sales.
Well, I mean, we do these, in all honesty, when we say that there's no, we'll send the address, is because we haven't determined which location, right? and that can hurt us or help us,
Right.
And it's that's one of the reasons why we do that. And another reason is that the whole keeping it mysterious and secret is fun too. It's like, how far can we take it? But let's do a different marketing approach. Rather than your traditional flyers or rather than your traditional video recaps, because we didn't have any recaps. We've never done this before. I'm like, man, I looked at Eric and Eric's like, oh, let's just keep making flyers. I'm like, dude, I think we should have people part of the journey, man. Let's ask people who the top local artists are, who, what they want to see and what they want to hear. And it was always the same. There's like a huge gap of the lack of house and dance music. People wanted places to go. And so setting up these events and not having the address, again, it's because we don't know where we're going to put it yet. And two, when we do decide, let's just make videos. Let's give people teasers. Let's get people involved. Like literally, Cleveland should be involved in all this movement of increasing the Cleveland scene. We can't just do it on our own. And he loved that idea. And we even asked him, like, is everyone okay with doing, $20 tickets? Everyone came and gave out, paid 40, 60, donated more money, donated, as they donated a lot of the equipment, a lot of the supplies we had, a lot of their time. And so then, we just keep dumping content of each other and of what we should do in Cleveland, especially the events that are coming up. But more importantly, New Year's Eve, I mean, having 3,000 people, it's still a wow factor. Like we had no idea it was going to be like that, and the more RSVPs we got, the more money and ideas we wanted to plug into the event. I'm like, dude, let's do a 360 stage. Right. Let's get a massive warehouse. Let's add VIP areas. Like, let's just go all out. And at one point, Eric's like, bro, I got a wedding. I got a wedding to pay for, man. This is costing more than my wedding. I'm like, Cleveland will come. We'll
show up and so
those show up and those support. And then we did it, and that event, man, it cost us a lot.
Yeah.
But luckily, everyone contributed to buying tickets and supporting the movement. And man, that feeling again, I mentioned the feeling that I've received for Halloween and then the Black Friday. But New Year's Eve, there was so many people that came up and were like, man, thank you so much. I wanted to take pictures, wanted to talk for a little bit, wanted to extend the invite, like, hey, I'm also a DJ, check me out. Like, here, I'm gonna follow you on social. I DM'd you. It's like, it's so surreal. The amount of energy Cleveland truly does have, and the need to do more, and not just go on your average, night out. It's like they're hungry for more experiences, more uniqueness, and doing that New Year's Eve party and having that 360 stage. We had to pay double because we needed 2 CDJs and 2 equipments and 2 this. The sound system needed to be all the way around. Like, Cleveland's never seen it. We delivered, and it's like, and Cleveland showed up. And that was the best feeling in the world when they did. There's times where like we were so doubting ourselves. Like, Aaron, you have no idea. Like, there's times where I'm like, bro, we just launched this and we just put the rental deposit and we got all this stuff.
If it doesn't work out.
Bro, if it doesn't work out, you're not getting married this year. You know what I mean? I'm like, my bad, dude. He's like, but the best part about having a good collaboration like Eric is that he is willing to take the risk, and he's like, you know what, screw it. Yeah. And like, let's just put our resources together and just make it happen. I'm like, all right, man, but don't blame me if it doesn't work out. We're gonna do what we can. And we started making videos. They started going viral. People started sharing, commenting, and it's like, I met people I've never even seen in the street before. And it's like, it's just so unique and cool to have that. And now I'm like, bro, we knocked out Halloween. We knocked out the Black Friday party, which was iconic, and I definitely want to do that again. We knocked out New Year's Eve, and that was just like so cool. then now we're knocking out.
I was gonna say, so what's next?
Yeah, dude. Now we're knocking out St. Pat's.
Okay.
So I hit up Eric and I'm like, man, we did so much. He's like, bro, another one? I'm like, let's keep it going. So Eric's like, what are you thinking? I'm like, dude, St. Pat's. Like, here's the thing. Like, doing events and having experience in working with 1,400 venues and being a consultant for all these event organizers, St. Pat's is one of my favorite holidays to plan because it is very simple. In my opinion, it is the largest and the most exciting holiday of them all. Other than Halloween. I think Halloween, actually, now that I think about it, Halloween. But it's St. Pat's is exciting. But other than like New York and Chicago and Philly and all these different markets that will plan St. Pat's, Cleveland's very bland. Like it's missing some oomph, right? As far as St. Pat's. Like every time I go out, it's great. The bar crawls are amazing. You got access to all these venues. I'm a little biased because I work with a bar crawl company, and it's fun. But then outside of the bar crawls, like what else is there for St. Pat's other than the parade? Parades are great, but then where do you go dance? Where do you go have fun? Like afterwards, it's great. I had my corned beef. I had my Reuben. Where do we go to party? And when I hit up Eric, I'm like, bro, I think we should combine St. Pat's and rave. And he's like, bro, that's a great idea. Let's do it. And that's one of the things I love about Eric. He's always willing to make it happen. He's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, hey, it might bankrupt us, but every dollar we made, all that extra, let's just throw it back into this one. He's like, well, what are you thinking? Again, we came and put our resources together, and then we found a venue, which we're not releasing the address, not even to this podcast.
Heard.
That we found a venue that literally holds nearly 3,000 people, outdoor, rooftop, largest venue in the Flats.
Okay.
And then it's completely naked, and we just dress it the way we want.
Okay.
It's a lot of cost, but it's Cleveland needs it, and it's like we're not gonna stop. How can we? Yeah. When you have all these people that come up during our parties, and say things like, "Man, keep it going. This is great. I've never done this before. I've never experienced something like this before. This is awesome. I met my new girlfriend here, dude." Someone that went to the Halloween party, Fast Track, I met him at like New Year's Eve, and they're like, "Oh man, I met all my new friends," or I met my girlfriend at one of your parties. I'm like, that is so rewarding. I'm like, man, that's the coolest thing ever. And then sharing these stories with Eric and all of our close friends, it's like, at first, I'm sharing all these aha moments with friends, and like, dude, they're the same friends that said that's not gonna work. Cleveland's not gonna show up. There's no way. Like, what are you thinking, dude? You're gonna spend all your money on what? Why? There's no way. It's dead. Cleveland's dead. Cleveland's dead. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna prove them all wrong. Okay. There's something about hearing someone say that my hometown is dead that I'm like, no, I'm gonna show you that it's not. And
I love that.
And I think we have proven testimony that there's people.
For sure.
There's a need, and it's just you gotta build it. And what's the saying? If you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, and they do come. And the amount of support, like, dude, there's times where like I'll say, hey, we need XYZ on social media, and boom, the amount of like support that comes through the DMs is just crazy. Yeah. I think that's how I met you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a hell of a journey for you guys. And you talked about, how you do these 24-hour activations or how it leads up and you tap into your resources or the creative scene in Cleveland. What does that look like for the team? Because I'm sure it takes a lot to put something like that together within the last minutes. You retain the same people you create with? Do you outsource? What does the production look like going into that?
If I'm going to be honest, the team is just me, Eric, and one other person.
Okay.
And it's funny. I can tap into like our other teams of like, of other events that we do. Mm-hmm. But they're the same individuals that said, you're crazy. You don't even make money off of that. How are you going to afford us? Like, which I can't do these pop-ups. We're not trying to make money. So it's really just a way for us to just to give back to Cleveland. But we did start meeting like new relationships, which is great. Mm-hmm. I met you. I met all the artists, which, the thing about teaming up with the artists and collabing with other individuals is that, they're willing to help us market, which is great. But that marketing is not what we need. We just want them to show up.
Heard.
That's all we want. Right. Like,
be in the space, feel it, experience it, and then take that information.
Exactly. Just continuing to be in front of the brand instead of behind the brand. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, you know, you should name this that. You should name this this. No, the goal is I'm going to show my face. I'm going to show people that I'm a human, and I am going to help Cleveland, and I will collab and work with anyone that's willing to do the same thing. You know, and when we start collabing and bringing on artists are amazing, man. They're like ready to go. Like, hey, we'll help you promote. We'll do this. We'll do that. To be honest with you, the way I look at artists is that you should focus on the vibe. You know, and it's funny to me when I work with all these venues nationally, like, oh, you know, we're going to bring XYZ to DJ. You know, we'll get them to promote. And I'm like, no, that's not how it works. The DJ should focus on the vibe. You're going to turn them into promoters and this and that. It's like, no, they're like, you know, I get it in a venue aspect why you do that, but that shouldn't be your main source of bringing people together. The main source of bringing people together is experience. It's like what do people get when they walk into the event? You know, it's sound, special effects, but bringing a community together. It's like that's the oomph. You know, it's not like flyers. You know, having a marketing company helps as well, and being exposed to all these people that are marketing geniuses. It's like, you know, yeah, you make a great recap video. Yes, you got great past videos. You got great flyers, and everything's all fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, it's like, people want to connect of not with the brand, but the people behind the brand. And for the first time, October of last year is the first time in 13 years I've showed my face of any events that I did.
Okay.
You know, not just the bar crawl. Like I never showed face in my years of managing bar crawls and working with 1,400 venues, the block parties, music festivals. This is the first time I've ever went against what the marketing experts are telling me, like, yo, you don't need to do that. Just do flyers and videos. It's like, no need to show face. You're just trying to show off. It's like, no, I'm not. I want people to experience being a part of the experience, being a part of the journey. Like
what goes into the building and the production of it.
You know, and it's like, you know, working with venues nationally, it's like there's a lot of them that are closing, a lot of them that are not making it because they're so reliant on like the DJs promoting, the bartenders promoting, and relying on videos and recaps and flyers. It's like, you know, why don't you just show face and make some videos? You know, and no one wants to. None of the club owners want to. None of the management want to. It's like one of the coolest things that T-Mobile's ever done, and I'm not even here endorsing T-Mobile whatsoever. When the new CEO came in, he started talking, and then you got like Tim Cook from Apple, like, and then you got Mark Zuckerberg. Like they started talking. That they're the face of the brand, and that like
people connect with that.
People connect with that, man, and you know, seeing it at that such high scale, I'm like, you know what? In an event aspect, I'm gonna show face. I'm gonna just start making videos. Eric thought I was nuts. He's like, bro, we don't need to do all that. But it's like, how else do you sell out events? Like, if people don't know who you are.
Yeah.
You know, there's no. We live in a city, especially in a time that where like the lack of brand trust is just dead. You know, people
don't know what they're walking into.
People don't know what they're walking into. Why not describe it? Why not give them bits and pieces of like what the expectations could be in a video? You know, and people get shocked when they DM me on questions of the event, and it's like I answer, like, holy shit, like I didn't think you were going to answer. It's like, you know, I love that, dude. I love connecting with people. I love helping them out on this and that, and answering questions. And there's just something to it to where you put your face on instead of hiding behind a brand. It's just so much better to just show people who you are, what you're trying to do, and why you're doing it.
I agree with that, especially in the sense that what I've noticed and that's one of the reasons that we started this podcast here, is because people like to go out, they like the nightlife experience, but they don't know what goes into it. They don't know the people behind planning it. So even seeing your social media roll out and all your videos and your consistency, we live in a city in an age and time now where people are more invested into the creators than what they're creating. People want to, like you said, be along with the journey. And the club culture itself is dying. So people want that one-of-one unique experience. And so you bringing them into your personal life, bringing them into your trials and tribulations of planning, I feel like you said makes them more invested. And they're like, oh, I've seen this come along the whole way. I want to see the final product. And though you get them invested and bring them out. So,
you know, there's a big trend of like people saying, you know, club culture is dead, this and that. Honestly, it's not. You know, it's I don't know what it is, but after COVID is what really screwed up everything, right? And it's not that club culture is dead. It's just there's a new experience that's needed. You know, people don't want your normal, bottle service. People want to actually have fun. They want to connect. They want to vibe. But, being a consultant with nearly 1,400 venues, it's like, when they remodel and then they take away the dance floor and to put in a section, it's like you're not seeing what people want. Or like, oh, people aren't drinking. Sweet, switch it up, make some mocktails. People aren't doing this. Great, bring a national artist, charge at the door. Like it's just, club culture is not dead. It's just a new experience needs to evolve. And when we started doing events, these pop-ups, me and Eric would go back like, hey, do we add VIP sections? No, like we'll add the sections. We're not doing seating because it's either you're there to party or dance, or you're you're gonna leave. We're not doing bottle service. That's just no. We're not making you unique over everyone else. Everyone's VIP, But the club culture, it's not that it's dead. It's just it's still 2014, and that's not good. It's like, dude, we're in 2026 now. The game has changed. These Gen Zs don't want to just go and spend thousands on bottle service. They want to have an experience. Give it to them. They want to dance. Build a DJ booth. Stop building sections. They don't want to drink. Make exciting cocktails or mocktails.
Yeah.
It's very easy to switch. It's just they don't want to see it because they're stuck in their own ways. And a lot of people are going to be pissed off that I'm saying this because they think that I'm saying it towards them. But if the shoe fits, what I'm saying is accurate. You got to switch. And man, there's different markets I'm in, like that I work with, and like a lot of venues are closing, and the owner would reach out, man, oh, I love the bar crawls you're doing. It makes us a lot of money. But outside of that, we're not doing so well. It's like, bro, your remodel, you took the dance floor away. And then some other markets where like we're doing bar crawls and like, hey, the owner will call me, we don't have a lot of foot traffic. Great. Well, you're doing basic options to drink at a discounted price. You took away the dance floor. It's literally the common thing is that these venues, especially nightclubs that I work with, they're taking away what matters to Gen Z and then some. It's like, and there's some venues that do very, very well, and it's obvious, like especially the new ones. They see the dance floor is needed. Like Touche to like venues like Goodnight John Boy. One of my favorite venues, man. It's like they brought the dance floor back. They're tapping into every demographic. It's not just your 21-year-old. Bro, it's like 21-year-old and your parents. Like that. I think that's the coolest new way of seeing a venue scale, like, and it helps. And I'm not surprised that they scaled so much, and then, but there are cool, unique venues in Cleveland, like Forward's awesome. Like, dude, and that's consistent, good music, which is great. It's just, in an overall perspective, they all have a common issue, and that's they're taking away the dance floor and they're replacing it with VIP sections, which is not how Gen Z wants it. Near like the people now, like, my age, like, I want to go out and dance.
Yeah.
I want to go out and have fun. Like, bring that back.
No, agreed. Agreed. Well, I want to dive into Cleveland specifically a little more while we're here.
Yeah.
So what's one thing you feel Cleveland has that other places don't?
That's a great question. Being in, 73 cities and like meeting a bunch of people nationally, Cleveland, it's the individuals. You ever see those like viral images of like Cleveland's everywhere?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That is a fact. Dude, like anywhere that I've traveled to, and the places, the parties that I host, the parties I launch, and all around the world, like, dude, there's someone I meet there from Ohio. Yeah. Like, I'm not even kidding.
No, I agree. We said
Cleveland
the same thing.
is freaking everywhere.
Yeah.
And like, I love when people, hear about me or whatever, and then they come up like, oh, I'm also from Cleveland. And that's like a party in New York, or a party in Philly, a party in Pittsburgh, like all these random places. But Cleveland, it's the people. Man, they're literally everywhere. And I have friends would come down and visit me for like, my birthday or whatever, and they come to Cleveland, and they all say the same thing. Like, dude, Cleveland's a vibe, man. Like, the people are awesome. Like, there's something unique about being a small city. It's the individuals who make it bigger, And when they meet those individuals, my friends don't want to leave. Like, they'll extend their stay. It's like, they're supposed to leave Sunday, they'll change the flight to Monday, and then they realize, oh, there's nothing to do on Monday. It's like, but that needs to change, There should be some fun things to do during the week.
Okay.
But it's the people that matter.
I love that. I love that. What's one thing that you feel is missing from the nightlife here in Cleveland?
Oh, that is a great question. I think I mentioned it a few times. It's the dance floor. It's the experience. Cleveland's missing the dance floor, the experience. It's missing that authenticity of like going, like the reason why people go out, like, you know, it's more organized ways to go out. That's what's missing. You know, people don't know where to go, how to go, like, and why they're going actually. You know, they're just, what's missing is the dance floor and that's really, and the experience. I think I mentioned that a few times, and it's sad to come home and see that, but which is why we're doing these pop-ups. Like, it's gonna come back. The dance floor will be back. The experiences will be back. You know, being a part of this movement, everyone's gonna be, you know, it's gonna come back just slowly but surely. I'm surprised. I didn't think it was gonna happen this quickly, but man, like starting from October of last year to now, it's like we've already had over 10,000 people like have attended
throughout the events.
Throughout the events, and it's insane that there are, like, it's just crazy how we've gotten it to that big, you know, in such a short amount of time.
Now, you tapped into it a little bit, but what do you feel is the most important part of a packed event?
Oof. That is a good one. Everything is the most important part. Every single thing about an event. Like, from the moment they step in, there's not one thing. I look at an event like I do a bicycle wheel, right? All the spokes. Each spoke is like, you know, production, the DJs, the media, the VIPs, or like the dance floor, the layout. Like, it all has to be important. Because one spoke, you got a really weird event.
Right. Okay.
You know, you got the wrong DJ, you got a weird event. You got the wrong lights set up, you got a weird event. Like it all has to be one of those key. Like, it has to be a wheel.
Okay.
So that's how I look at events. So, like,
I like that.
Yeah, everything's important when it comes to events. Every single detail matters. And the moment that someone walks into that event, that's key. That's important. That's like, you got them. They're there. Make it worthwhile. You know, and I love when they first walk in, like, holy crap, there's lasers, there's lights, special effects, man. That's just nuts. You know, if they're going to be there for 3 to 4 hours, you might as well give them something to look at and something to experience every 15 to 20 minutes. Like, when we switch DJs, when I talk to all of them, like, guys, don't stop the music. Let them figure out that it's switched by your you know, how are you doing beats per minute? Like, they just switch it up with them.
Yeah.
You know, and then when they look up, like, oh, it's a different artist. You know, like, I can't stand when, like, events like would shut the music off to switch to, you know.
All right, we got the next artist coming to the stage.
It's like, man, put the mic down, keep the flow going. And I love how it's like people look up like, oh crap, it's Scene.
Right,
you know, oh
right.
crap, it's EV. Crap, it's Rosa. It's like that's like part of the experience, you know. And you know, I'll go back and forth with Eric. He's like, he always wants to be on the mic. I'm like, no, there's no mic. Let them get surprised by what you're saying, doing. And I love when he jumps on stage, like, yeah. I'm like, oh, perfect. There you go. That's an experience. You know, so like, I care about every single detail, man.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Sometimes too much.
Oh yeah, we noticed.
Yeah.
What do you feel is the most overrated part of the nightlife culture?
Man, the most overrated part in nightlife culture, it's got to be the VIP you know, sections. The VIP is it's too overrated. It's too much, you know, and it's something that used to be back in 2014, and it's still going. And it's like, it's too much, man. Like, you know, you're taking away the real estate inside the venue, you know, just for like special individuals. Like, man, like, but people want to connect, you know, and that's what I feel is the most overrated.
Okay.
You know, it's just the VIP aspect.
So we talked about Cleveland as a collective. I want to lean a little more into you and your journey. Where do you see yourself within the next 5 years?
That's a great question. In Cleveland, right?
In general.
Where I see myself in the next 5 years in Cleveland, I see myself collabing with some of the biggest organizers in the world to bring music festivals into Cleveland.
Oh,
you know, so like, you know, I want to have more, man. It's crazy how Cleveland doesn't have its own music festival. You know, maybe it used to, but it doesn't. I want to bring back, you know, having like college nights where 18 plus can go out too. Day parties, like, dude, in the next 5 years, I want to wake Cleveland up.
okay.
You know, there's got to be more, man. And it's like, when I was here, there was so much to do. You know, I was 18, 19 years old, 19 before I left. But there was so much to do, man. There was college nights. There was stuff to do during the week. There was a bunch of day parties to go to. Even the beach was like all lit up. You know, now that I think about it, I want to reach out to Eric and be like, yo, we should do 18 plus events. Like, you know, there's so many people that reach out to us in DM like, hey, man, you know, is it 21 plus? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But there should be 18 plus.
Something to accommodate that next generation.
But mark my word right now, like, dude, Cleveland, this summer, we're going to do our absolute best to bring a music festival to life.
Okay.
Could be June, you know, whenever.
I'll hold you to that.
As you should, you know, I would love that. And, you know, bring back, you know, this video clip of like, we're tapping in.
For sure.
Dude, if you really think about the movement we're doing, it's like we're already doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like having nearly 10,000 who have joined the event so far. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of them that are the same people, but like, dude, a lot of people from Columbus have come out.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people from Akron, surrounding areas, Kent. Like, dude, there's a bunch of people that I've never seen come out to the events. I'm like, man, I'm from Columbus, dude, and like I've seen what you've been doing. I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Like, making Cleveland a destination point is my ultimate goal in the next 5 years.
Okay.
You know, just having more people come, you know, and really waking up Cleveland to where it needs to be. Because it's not like, I know you probably agree, it's not like that right now. It's missing so much.
But the shift is happening now, which I'm
Yeah.
grateful for. Even meeting, you know, having conversations with you, with EV, with a lot of the creatives, a lot of people that I've had on here. The shift is happening in real time. You know, people want this. The party goers want it. The creatives want it. The DJs want it. So now I feel like there's this collaboration happening that was missing for so many years now. Everybody's doing their own thing. Now the city's coming together to support its own and support each other. Amongst all the things that you've done, is there one specific I made it moment or one specific event that stood above the rest where you're like, wow, we're doing this?
That's a good question, because, you know, that I made it moment, like, you know, when I doing events, I don't think I've ever walked into a room and said, man, I made it. Because like when I see a party, I start thinking about the next one. Like, you know, so for me, there is no I made it moment. There's we did this party. Let's learn from that and let's do the next one. Especially with these pop-ups, man. It's like Eric says the same thing, man, this is great. I'm like, no, let's do another one. Let's make it better. Oh, dude, this is awesome. Like, no, let's take what we made and dump it into the next one. It's like, dude, you know, like, are we going to stop? I'm like, I don't think we should, man. Let's keep going. You know, a lot of people want to stop and enjoy that moment. To me, I want to keep those moments going. And then we'll stop when we get old. Yeah. You know, and I don't plan on stopping. But that moment, I feel like there's a lot of people who say, you know, I made it, but the common factor when people say things like that, especially people I know, it's like, oh, I made this happen, but then they stop. You know, and then the next person like, oh, we did this, we did that. And then I find their conversations being the same. Like, I used to do this, I used to do that, I used to do this. It's like, bro, keep it going. Why'd you stop? Keep it going. Why'd you stop? You know, it's like, I feel like when you use that term, like, I made it moment, it ends up stopping you from getting to the next level.
Okay.
You know, so like I always just want to keep going, man.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. And in closing, what is some advice that you have for potential upcoming promoters, DJs, creatives in the city looking to do something similar to what you're doing now?
That's another great question. From the DJ's perspective, what I recommend them is that just play what you love. Don't cater to the crowd. Play what you love. A lot of DJs like are just playing to the crowd. It's like, but then you come to find they don't even like that kind of music, you know. But if they played what they loved, they end up building that fan base, and then people will come go see them because they played that kind of music. You know, so I recommend just playing what you love. Don't cater to the crowd, because at the end of the day, crowd really doesn't know what they want. They don't know. You got to educate their ears by showing them passion of what you love. You know, and you know, it's funny. I'll talk to DJs, and it's like, you know, hey, what's your favorite genre of music you like to play? It's like, oh, I like this, but I'll play this. I'm like, no, you should stick to that. You know, and they do, and then they build a fan base, and like, boom, that's why you get booked. That's why when you go to venues and you say you're going to be somewhere, that's why the fan base comes out. As far as the promoters go, it's that I have a lot of emotion to, because I used to run I used to run a promotional company in New York, and it's like a lot of these DJs. One thing I'm good at is building relationships. I don't know anything. Like, I'm the dumbest person you've ever met, but I know a bunch of people that know a little bit about a lot.
Okay.
You know, so I find myself being really good at relationships, right? And when I deal with promoters, especially at an early age, man, my early 20s, I didn't know shit. And the promoters would come up like, oh, you know, I only have X amount of people coming out. Like, well, what are you doing? Like, let's figure it out. Like, where are you finding these people? Like, you know, you're posting on social, great, this and that. What they were lacking was authenticity, you know, and not just being a promoter, being a promoter and a good host. Like when some of the promoters would come and pack the night out, they would just get people to go into the venue and then leave. It's like, no, man, you get them in the venue, you turn yourself from a promoter to a host,
And you cater to your
then
crowd.
you cater to the crowd, man. And then when you have a table, and you have the people that you brought up and they followed you because you're a promoter, join your table. Don't let them make their own cocktails. Make it for them, man. Like be there for them. You know, show them that you're a great promoter. And then once you do the next promotion, boom, those people remember those little things. So authenticity is key, man. Just keep it authentic. Be there, you know, and turn yourself from promoter to when you go into the venue, a host. You know, so I mean that's how I scaled my promotional company and then sold it. Like, you know, it's just keeping it authentic.
All right.
You know, and relationships.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to build those relationships, man. Especially with people that don't know nightlife. You know, some of the promoters, man, you know nightlife, but you got people that are following you that don't know, and then they trust you to go into that venue and have a good time, but you just leave them in there. That's not building a relationship. It's like, okay, great, you filled up the venue, but then they don't come back the next one, and then next one. It's because you're not building a relationship with them. So authenticity, man, it's key.
Authenticity.
Yeah.
We'll take that. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you tapping in with us. Please be sure to tap in with Ish, with DJ EV, Clubhouse.
I'm here, guys. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry. I'm just doing a quick promo for St. Patty's Day. March 14th. I want to see you right here. It's going to be nice and sunny, just like today. The ice will be gone. Don't worry.
Let them know.
Oh, sorry.
Be sure to tap in with us. Appreciate you, Ish.
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.